Well, I've been working on other projects or aspects of projects, but we had some rain and snow, so it's kind of sloppy to get around. Well, really sloppy. Cutting foot deep ruts here in the yard. But I decided I'm going to start working on that tool shed. You know, I'm making a 12 by 12 tool shed. I put the posts in last fall. Well, now I need to make some 2 by 6's, and I have all these slabs of oak. And what I do with these are from where I'm cutting wall logs for the building. These are the outside pieces. You know, I cut it into slabs, and they're 2-inch and real 2-inch. You know, they aren't the odd way they measure now. In order to get a 6-inch, you know, my first thought, well, I can rip them with the table saw. Well, you can't handle these things. They're just incredibly heavy. You know, some of these are 20 feet long, you know, over a foot wide. You know, like this, look at 15 inches. But I'll be able to get two by 6's out of it. But what I'm going to do is use this Haddon lumber maker. That way I could just rest the board on something and buzz right down there. That'll go fast. That'll cut very easily. But to get the 6, you know, like I say, a regular 2 by 6, 5.5 inches. Well, the Haddon, you're running an offset. So by running that, I'm going to get 6. Or close enough to 6, simply by tacking my board right on the edge and then buzzing down it with the, well, I'm using my 372 because I happen to have the ripping chain on that, but any saw would do this. So I could use my 51, I could probably use that little thing. But I got the ripping chain on this one, so I'll go ahead and buzz them with this. But even the 2 by 6 by itself is going to be one heavy chunk of wood. And then I got to pine tar those, the ones that'll be down on the bottom. Upper ones, it doesn't really matter. But I got a whole pile I got to cut up that way. So I had to come up with a good method. But hopefully I can get a little more snow off of these. They were kind of buried in snow. And I guess it doesn't really matter where I'm cutting them, but to get nailed on square, I can't have ice on them. But this way I can handle them because, you know, I can pick up one end at a time, but there's no way I can pick up the whole thing and put it on a table saw. I'd break the table saw. It would never work. This is a much more efficient way of doing it. You know, and I've talked about these lumber makers before, you know, and there are many companies. You know, this used to be the only one available at the time, at one time. You know, back in the 70s, I think is when they started making these. But now there's many knockoffs that look exactly like it. And these sell for like $100, but you can buy knockoffs for like $25. I don't know why, you know, they don't lower the price on these, but I never paid that much. You know, I usually end up with them from auction sales. I think I've got a couple more of these. They'll be in a, you know, somebody will buy one, use it a little bit, and then they'll throw it in a box of junk, and then auction sale they turn up. So I buy them. Nobody knows what they are. But they work really good for this kind of thing. And also for where somebody had asked about, you know, when I use that Alaskan mill, which is what these were cut with, you know, to make that first cut, like this cut would have been made with the Haddon. I'll tack a 2 by 6 on to make that first cut. Then I'll roll the log, then I can use the Alaskan. But that is how you make that first level cut so you have a good field to work with the Alaskan. That's exactly how these were made. And, you know, it takes a while pushing through those, you know, when you're cutting over a foot wide of oak, by 2 inches, but she's just going to fly. But that is how I will get my 2 by 6's. And make use of all these slabs. Though there's some of them, you know, I look at them and it's really good oak. You know, there's some I might end up spare, and like I see one there that's really clear grain. You know, I'll leave that to last if I don't need it. The 2x6s, that could go into like a furniture type project because it's really good oak. So you kind of hate that. But you know, when people talk about live edge, that's what I'm dealing with here. You know, I always cut the one square with the hadden, then I start cutting, but I always leave the one edge with mark on it. Because then I can always come back and cut it to any width I need. I'm not locked into anything. You know, I hate to, no, even these, I hate to, I knew I needed 2x6s, so I cut a bunch of them at 2 inches. But I could have cut a lot of nice 1-inch boards out of these too. But I've always got more coming. But this will be easy working, except there's a bog. I got some scrap wood I might throw down so I got something to walk on, because he's sloppy. But that'll be a good 2x6. Incredibly strong. You know, in the first place being a true 2-inch by a true 6-inch, and then out of oak. And this stuff is, you know, it's not knotty or anything. This is just clear, really nice oak. But should be plenty strong. I tend to overbuild things.